family. Call us to make your appointment today at 877-667-7017. That's 1-877-667-7017. Walk-ins are welcome. All children receiving back-to-school services will be entered to win a backpack full of school supplies. At Health First, your health is our first concern.
Community leaders around the area are supporting the greatest comeback of all time.
We're all trying to figure out what this new normal looks like. And I know that we have, very high rates of unemployment, but I've got 40 different employers in our region that are hiring right now. So there are jobs that are out there right now. And there's, plenty of businesses that are opening back up or looking to rehire.
All of our marinas are up and running. And I live out on the lake, and every day I pass Eddy Creek coming to my office. It's so exciting that now I think more and more people are coming because they don't want to travel to a big city with what the world our country is experiencing right now. And they don't want to travel far, but they feel safe and come in an hour to, to our lake. And it's a beautiful environment, and it's family friendly. And you can see that in the water.
The greatest comeback of all time is underway. Continue supporting local. Together, we can make a difference.
1580 103.3 WPKY. And I'll tell you, I brag on her all the time, but I think she's a pretty special lady. Miss Miranda Meeks, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Pull that over to you, sweetheart. Okay. There we go.
That better?
There we go. Now we can hear her. I want to make sure we don't miss anything. Yeah. Miranda is doing a fantastic job, and she's got the most beautiful illustrations. Tell everybody what you do.
Okay, so...
Because you're like Mrs. I got multiple things going on all the time, so tell them what you do.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm currently in the process of illustrating a children's book series, and you all were so gracious to have me here the first time back in March before...
It's selfish, I promise you it is.
So I'll get to the explanation on why we're kind of re-promoing the same book in just a second. But it's now officially out for real this time.
Oh, and it's for real reals though.
It's for real. So, which is unreal in itself. But I've teamed up with this lady who has decided to write this children's book series, and it's going to be a 7-book series over the course of a couple of years, and it follows the story of Little Shot, who is a star that has really big dreams of wanting to be a big shot someday, which means in this story she wants to be a shooting star that can give people hope and give them something to wish upon, that kind of thing. But it's like a character development series, so each book is going to focus on a very specific character trait, and book 1 is courage. So it's called The Little Shot, Courage. It is currently available right now online through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Target, and will likely also be available in other places.
Has anybody asked you if you're psychic yet?
No. No.
I'm just saying. Because, when you come up with this book, I bet you didn't realize what the meaning of this book was really going to have a meaning to this book later on.
No. Tasha, who is Tasha Eisinger, she's the author, and her and I just keep having these conversations about how crazy it is, the timing of everything. Back when I was here in March promoing it the first time, we had everything planned. It was going to come out. Everything was set. We had schools booked for the week. Tasha was going to actually be here on a Monday and talk with you all. We were excited. It was going to be out. We had schools booked and public libraries booked for book tour things. And then we found out there was an issue at the printers.
What?
Because I, of course, ordered my own copy, because when do you get to do that? So I got it in the mail.
I didn't think about that. How cool would that be? You go online and you order your own book. What was that like?
That was surreal.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that was really cool to be like, oh my gosh, it's my book. But so Tasha and I both had went on to order our stuff. And so I got it in the mail and I opened it and I was like, as soon as I saw the cover, I was like, that's not the book I made.
Oh, no.
The colors weren't what we agreed to in the proof. And so there was an issue at the printers. My favorite issue at the printers, however, because there were also some splotchy things on some of them. So we had to halt printing. But my favorite issue
You know, Disney made billions off of some messed up covers on their DVD. I'm just saying.
Yes. Oh, we've kept them because we have plans for those later.
To say, you know, there's some companies that have really made a bunch of money off of boo-boos.
Well, we have some plans for those later because we do want to. She has been a teacher in the past, and I, of course, am still an art teacher, and so education is really important to us, and so we have a lot of copies of that book. That is what we halted printing, but I mean, you got to turn lemons into lemonade. So we are going to use those as kits at some point in the future for educational reasons, for like a little publisher's kit for teachers to be able to rent or purchase for their classroom. We have a lot of fun plans down the road, even with the things that mess up, that kids can use for, I don't know, learning to like be a publisher or going through and seeing the differences between this book versus this book. Can you spot the differences and the mistakes in it and stuff like that?
Oh, but that's cool.
My favorite error that I found out happened, at least one person I know of got a book that started on page 18 and then it went forward, and in the middle of the book was the title page.
It's like Star Wars.
was the title page, and then went on from there with the story at the beginning. And we were like, okay, we
I
gotta
think that's
stop
fantastic. And I'll make you feel better about
and then
yourself.
Corona hit.
Well, it was destiny, though, because great things were. I'll make you feel a little bit better. I promised I wouldn't tattle on him on air because it would embarrass the far out of him. So I'm not going to tell his name. But I have a friend of mine that decided to run for office this year. And he decided that, well, he's a golfer. He'll buy a bunch of tees, you know, and put his name on there. Vote for me. So he did, and he bought just an obscene amount, like thousands of them. Well, his name was backwards. Like his last name was first. It was really weird, right? Yeah. So he's like, wait a minute, this isn't right. And it was all that same time frame. Like it was that same week. Yeah. So we said, you know what? Look, man, I can't. These are wrong. And they were like, okay, well, you keep those and we'll send you the right ones. Well, he got nope. Time 2. Guess what? Those are all wrong, too.
Yeah.
So it happens. I promise you.
I mean, we were like, of course. But of course this is what's going to happen.
Oh, he's got like 20,000 golf tees that he's got the wrong name on them. So
It's so funny. It just cracks us up because we were like, okay, how can we again turn lemons into lemonade with all this? And so we set about to correct this, and then of course Corona hit and school was canceled the same day Tasha was supposed to be here to talk with you all, and we had a booking at our primary school for the big kickoff. Was the day school shut down.
I'm gonna tell you what, that was the week that we all sat in front of each other and went,
oh my gosh,
what do we do now?
Yeah.
And because that week was one of those things. We didn't know never dealt with anything like that either.
No.
And I remember Bill Booth and I on the phone with each other going, well, what now?
Yeah.
You know? And I remember being at home that afternoon and my phone just going crazy all of a sudden. And that was when we'd gotten our first case. It was ridiculous. And I think we will all be better in some ways because we did go through it and we found ways to get around it and persevere. But again, I was talking to you about it yesterday. It's because of that courage. Because it takes a lot of courage to pull those bootstraps up and go, look, all right, let's go figure it out. We'll cry about it later.
Well, that's the part that Tasha and we've had a lot of conversations about. The whole idea that she originated this idea, and then, of course, I've been brought onto the team and developed the visuals for it. But the idea that even though we're the ones creating the story, we find it so interesting that the story is continuously teaching us throughout the process. So, I mean, we sat down and we said, okay, we can't have a book about having courage to chase your dreams and then not ourselves continue to try to have courage to figure out how to make sure this message gets out there.
I think I looked at you before and said it was ironic. Now I don't think it's I don't think it's ironic, and it could be some synergy in there. And I don't believe in coincidences. I think that God just puts you in what you do in the place that you need to be at the moment. And I think that this is just your moment.
Oh, 100%. And we talked because, and it helps that she's been a teacher. We had to have courage to stop the publishing of it. The fact that we'd done this huge publicity before, which is fine. And we just decided that was going to be our soft launch. And then this was the real one.
See, that's a word to look up right there.
And then we had to have courage to say, listen, we have to halt it to fixing it because I'm still a teacher. And right now, where my attention has to go is these kids because it was a 180 for all of us. And my attention had to go 100% to that. That
I didn't even think about that.
That's
You're
number one.
Teacher. I didn't even think about it because that was during the NTI thing when all of that happened.
Lord bless us all. Thank you, parents that did what you could.
I would be in a padded room at this point.
And then it slowed down at the printer because, of course, they were slowed because of it, because it impacts them as well. So that whole process was very interesting. And again, constantly learning things. And our team, I was so proud of our team during that process. Everyone had great attitudes, and we just laughed because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And then we got to talking as the summer progressed on. We were like, okay, 2020 has been a juggernaut. And so we were like, this is so timely because you need to have the courage to speak. You need to have the courage to go on and continue pursuing things and to speak up for things. But then book 2's focus is humility. And then you got to follow it up with having the humility to listen.
Oh, that's a biggie.
And we struggle with that as adults, even. We struggle a lot. Because everyone has so many different opinions on everything. And to be honest, most people's opinions are valid. They have a reason that they feel that way. And we a lot of times want to focus on the idea of I have the courage to stand up and say something no matter what side of the fence you're on things. But then you got to be humble enough to listen.
Well, and here's the thing. My daughter and I were talking about it, and she's a teenager. Actually, when she was, in your grade area where you're teaching, I think you ended up doing what she thought was amazing, where you used alternative media to create an outfit at the end of that year. And man, I'm telling you, this woman made it, and she strutted it in front of parents and family and everybody. She said, look at me. But all the kids loved that because you had the courage to do that. You weren't asking them to do anything that you weren't going to do yourself.
Well, here's my favorite part about that, because that's my favorite tradition at school, if I'm being honest.
Much fun.
I'm not the one that makes those. The kids make those. And so it's really fun that at the end of every year, that because we make it pretend it's like a red carpet, and I make them ask me, who are you wearing when I get up on stage to give the art awards? And it's my favorite tradition because it gives the kids a platform to think outside the box. I get up there and look silly to most people, but the idea of it's fun and I'm in on the joke, but I'm also legitimately proud of what I'm wearing because the kids made it, and it's so clever, and it's just a great way to get to highlight the kids because I as a middle school teacher, you don't really get a lot of opportunities when all the parents are together to highlight a kid's art, because we get together for sports, and I'm very supportive of that. I mean, sports paid for my education, but the arts, I really love when I can find moments to highlight the kids and what they make and what they do. And it's just really fun. It's
they celebrate each other. That's what I love watching, is when they can really and truly celebrate one another. And it's not just themselves.
Absolutely.
It's such a, I don't know, it's impactful in so many ways. And I wish to goodness most people could see it. But when you talk about things on social media, my daughter and I were talking about that, a lot of times your message, and I want people to understand this. I don't want people to think that, I've got an opinion too. Everybody's got an opinion, and I think one is just as important as the other, but I think people need to realize that there is a respectful way to voice it. And when you don't go about it in the right way, your message is not heard, and it's lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not perfect, and have a lot of days that I fail, but I try really hard.
Girl, me every day.
Gosh, yes. I try really hard, though. My rule for myself on social media when I post things, and I have a classroom Instagram account because there is no me deciding if the kids have it or not. So I just look at it's a way for me to communicate with the kids and to model. Hopefully, I'm modeling a way to be positive on there, and that's a place where negativity is not really allowed. It doesn't get to happen. I shut it down real fast if it does, and I block those people or whatever happens. But my rule is it clear and is it kind? And if it's not those two things, I don't let myself post it. And again, I'm sure I have days that I fail with that, but I try to operate by that. Is it clear and is it kind? And if I've said it, I don't need to say it.
A T-shirt, it needs to be on a banner.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Because that can hurt each other. And that is at the cornerstone of it. When years ago in Bible school, that thing just keeps hitting me. This is what I'm trying to remind myself lately, is they used to teach us, look, just think of one good thing that happened this week and tell us what it was.
Yeah.
Just one. It could be somebody opened the door for me, somebody said hello to me, because that can be a kindness sometimes. And you just try to think, because it just gets your brain thinking about the good things versus all the bad stuff that happened.
Oh, absolutely. And I love my students so much, and it breaks my heart when I hear them not being kind to each other and not saying kind things. And that's one reason that I was 100% for signing on to this project with Tasha, because the idea of getting a message out to kids on having good character traits about themselves, that's how you become a successful person. It's not about how big of a name you become. It's not about how much money you have. It's what kind of human do you want to be? And having good character traits are part of how we do that. And so Tasha and I'm very excited about this kind of giveaway.
That's what the colors are about too, right? Even down to the colors that you used on your illustrations.
Yes, we have the art nerd teacher in me. I had to do something for all of my art teacher friends out there. And I've talked with a lot of them about it. I'm really excited about that because I did the illustrations purposefully, not just in a way to tell the story, but also in a way that's very easy for art teachers to extrapolate art lessons from. So it gets literacy in the classroom. They can read the story about wonderful character qualities and about pursuing your dreams, but they also get the opportunity based on the illustrations. They're easy connectors to art lessons on things. So that I was really happy about how it turned out. But how we were talking about this whole idea of being positive on social media, Tasha and I really want to do what we can with that. So we have a giveaway that we're going to be doing on our Facebook page.
I love this.
So the Little Shot is what it's called. The Little Shot on Facebook. That's the page. Obviously, we would love it if you would go and like and share and all those things. But more importantly, we really want to be a part of getting positive messages out there. So we would love for anyone that wants to go to the page. This is a chance for you to win 2 free autographed copies of the book.
And they're worth it. Oh, they're so cute.
By both myself and Tasha as the author. So you would get both signatures in there. You get 2 free copies. And here's how you do that. You go to the Little Shot on Facebook. You obviously like the post and then you share. But what we want you to do is in the comments section, we want you to nominate in different comments as many people as you want to nominate that you think are courageous. We want to know who you think in your life is courageous. It could be a little kid. It could be an elderly person. It could be a family member or a friend or a coworker. But we want to hear why you think those people are courageous. Because
it gave me goosebumps.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
And it's hot in here. It is not cold. I'm just saying. And But
you can be courageous for so many things. We've got so many people that they're courageous because they're battling cancer. They're courageous because they're battling corona. They're courageous because they're a single mom and they got up the next day. Like, we just want to spread some sort of positivity out into the world and let that reach as much as we can. And we just thought this might be a fun way to do it and a great way to give some books away. And what we would hope happens is if you win the book, and I'll tell you when the deadline is in a second, but if you win the books, 1 copy's obviously for you, and the other one's for you to give away to that person or one of those people that you nominated. And we've got some special things we want people to do with the book. If you win the giveaway, we hope that you will write in the book why you thought that person was courageous before you give it to them, so that they have that in there as well as the story itself. But some of the things that we really are excited about that are extra things that people could do with the book is, 1, obviously read it, enjoy it, love it, pass it on, anything like that. But 2, because it's about courage and all the books moving forward are about a different topic. Book 2 is humility. Hopefully it'll be out in the fall, barring all these crazy circumstances in the world right now. But the idea of, okay, I can fill out, you can do it secretly, you can do it with them knowing, you can write in it all the things you notice about your child as they grow, why they're courageous. It could be little moments, it could be big moments. I'm really proud of you because you showed so much courage because blank.
What a great
You were really
idea.
kind to somebody. And then you can surprise them with it, maybe when they graduate, maybe for a special something. You can log just your family's journey of courageousness. You can...
Oh, what about a birthing? Like when they get pregnant?
Exactly. That's one of them.
Yes, ma'am.
That is one of them that we hope parents will do in particular is, especially the first time you become a parent, think back and log all of the courageous moments that you had becoming a parent. Because that, to me, is one of the biggest things you can do is take that on. And so the idea of logging that, and then when your child becomes a parent someday, to be able to give them that as a gift would be,
priceless.
I feel, insurmountable. To be able to know if it's 3 a.m. and they're exhausted, they can pull that out and connect with you on that level.
Well, sometimes it can be the most lonely thing in the world, where you swear you're the worst mother in the world, or you're the worst dad in the world. That never happened to that grandma. I've got to be the only one. No, you're not.
And there's just so many moments. Life is made up of moments. And it's those moments that are the things that are most valuable. And we get so busy. We forget about those moments until someone reminds us of it again. So we need to jot it down because everything gets mushed together as you go through life's journey, right? Or let's say college, for example, you log in there your courageous moments as you set out maybe those years right after high school. And then again, you can give them that so that when they're away and they want to call you, but they don't want to call you, then they can pick that up and read it and feel like maybe it's a hug from you or something. But
well, I got to admit, you never know what life is going to, the twist and turns. And once those loved ones are gone,
yes,
they can't tell you those stories anymore.
No.
And that is a really great way to, maybe they've lost a parent, but the other parent can still write that down and write those moments down. That is a way that they can really connect with the loved ones that they've lost.
Absolutely. It almost serves as a time capsule in a way, a time capsule of a conversation in the future that they'll want to have with you, but heaven forbid if they don't get to, this is a chance for them to have a little bit of one.
And yes, Jenna Weiner, I can hear you going, oh, I love that. I can hear her. In the back of my head.
But the giveaway, I just want to make sure everyone knows when the deadline is for that. The deadline for that, we just posted about it last night, so it's kind of a long weekend thing. So the deadline to sign up for that and do all the sharing and the nominating of people, and we really hope we see as many as possible, is this coming Sunday, the 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we'll announce on Monday, and you all will probably be getting the information so you can announce on Monday.
Yes.
Especially because I mean, secretly, I hope it's someone in my hometown. But
I do too.
We'll do a random drawing based off of as many nominations as come in. So if you nominate someone in separate comments, that gets you more nominations. So I wouldn't put everybody in one comment because I would go back and do separate comments.
That's very important to understand and know.
Yes, because that gets you more, your name in the pot more for the drawing for the 2 books.
Are we listening now, friends? Come on. I think that's and you said it Monday. This Monday is when you're drawing.
This Monday is when we're announcing we'll draw Sunday night because actually I'm getting ready. We do like a retreat with each other twice a year.
Okay.
Because she lives in Upper Indiana. So we do a retreat.
Hoosier.
We'll do a retreat with each other twice a year where I go to her place or she comes to my place so that we can do obviously business things. But what's so great about our team, and we talk about this all the time, and I hope it stays like this, it's just so nice to have a team where not only do you love what you make, but you actually enjoy each other. So we put a lot of time and effort into not only how do we develop the product, but how are we developing our our relationship with each other as a team. That's really important. And especially we think that's really important as females, because there's so many times that I feel like you hear with women that they want to make it out to sound like there's only room at the table for one. Or a lot of times I notice with adolescent girls, they can get kind of catty and competitive with each other, that if you get this, then that means I don't matter, or that means I can't be this. There's room at the table for everybody. And so we like the idea of being able...
Could you just, I don't know, sit and talk to me for a while? Because...
we really like the idea of building these things that we've done, so that at some point maybe that can be something we do, like with workshops or things on working with teen and adolescent girls, or even, who knows, business women, about how to root each other on. Like you gotta learn how to be a champion of other women.
I'm going to say it. We have got a league of women in this area that are just plain champions in their fields. We have got women on Food Network. We have got women that are authors and illustrators. Your book's in Target Boutique, okay? You made it. I mean, we have got coaches that are renowned for what they do. And these are all women. Beth Mann is at the top of her field in broadcasting. I mean, you name it. We have got females in just about every area you can think of around here. And they're successful.
Yeah.
And they're winning.
Yeah. Well, I've got to shout out a little bit with Michelle Wyatt and Allison Van Hooser, who also have had books come out, right? And so
I got their books, right?
Yeah. And I love
you, ladies.
Yes. I love a conversation that we had with each other, a private conversation. I don't think they'll mind me sharing this.
I pick them on all the time. Go ahead.
But we were talking about the idea that the running joke I know growing up here was always, there's nothing to do here and there's nothing going on here.
Right.
And so we kind of giggled at the idea that in a town where nothing happens, 3 of us put out books in the same year, and that deserves to be celebrated with each other.
It's amazing. And I will tell you, I love them all. I mean, I really do. Yeah. And I can't say that I loved one more than the other, or that this one did more for me than that one. They all pick you up, but in different ways. And I think that's really good, too, because they're, you can... I've never seen anybody, as far as the women in this area, who try to bring each other down. Yeah. It seems like they all try to lift each other up, and they all try to mention each other. Michelle Wyatt was here. She was like, well, wait, no, you need to read the last. I want to see what her reaction is. You all talk about each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing and important.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's really important to model that in a society that can be so divisive at the moment. And maybe it always has been, and we have more platforms now in which to see it because of social media, but it's just really important for people to realize there's room at the table for everybody and to root each other on. That's so important, because it doesn't detract from you. It doesn't detract from what you get to accomplish. And I know growing up in sports, that sometimes can feel the way it is. But I was really fortunate. I did running and basketball both, but I found, especially in running, all the girls I competed against were my friends. And I've just grown up that way, that we all rooted each other on. We waited at the finish line. Whoever finished first, we waited for the other to say, good job. You did a good job. We went back and cheered them on as they would finish. That's just the way you do it. Yeah.
It pushes you to get a little better.
Friendly competition is important, and emphasis on the word friendly. Competition doesn't mean it can't be friendly. You can still be hardcore competitive about stuff, but there's a friendly way to do it.
Well, and people have asked before, because I'm a tomboy, and I'll get out and I will. I'm a grease monkey. I do all of that kind of. And they, well, why? Well, my dad never told me I couldn't.
Yeah,
it never occurred to me that I couldn't. And it was one of those things where even if he didn't necessarily know how to teach me, he would root me on and say, "Well, we may not know how, but let's go learn."
Exactly.
He didn't say you can't.
Yeah,
he said, let's just figure out a way we can.
My parents have been the same way.
That was, I think, just in the little way you describe things like that to kids. Don't ever put a stamp on their forehead and say, I can't. I have a special needs son, and that's the one thing I said. I don't ever want to label him disabled or anything like that in any way. He's nonverbal. I don't ever want somebody to say, oh, well, he can't talk. Hey, don't say that. Because you don't know what he's going to do 2 years from now. Don't tell him he can't.
Absolutely.
The moment you tell him he can't, he believes that he can't. No, he chooses not to.
Yeah.
I promise you, if you knew my son.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Eli chooses not to. That little guy gets plenty of attention
when he comes to my class.
Well, and that's the thing. I said, quit putting labels on kids and telling them they can't do something.
Yeah.
Just say, let's figure it out.
And I will say, it's very easy to do. I think in any place you grow up, but I think in particular in a small town, because we do enjoy the label. Like, I'll just give you an example. When I was growing up here, I mean, half the time it wasn't like, because if you have the same last name as other people, okay, are you the runner? Are you the volleyball player? Are you the, and it's always those questions. And it's like, you're the runner, aren't you? First name the, last name runner.
Right.
So it's just kind of...
Who used to live down the street from my grandma, and then my grandma knew his uncle, and then they got married, and then it's the 12th removed Kevin Bacon thing.
Oh, yeah. But it is really easy, I feel like, in school to kind of... make your identity about your label based off of if you're the band kid or the academic kid or the football player or the wrestler or whatever the thing is that you do. And it's really easy to kind of take on that persona as your only persona. And then what happens if you don't get to do that anymore? What happens when that time period's over? Or what happens if that's gone or you doubt yourself in that area? Then you doubt your whole identity. And that's not healthy.
I just, on my tombstone, it'll probably say, well, she gave it a whirl. I mean, she tried.
It's just really important for kids and adults both to know that, there's always hope. So, like, for example, in this crazy year of 2020, of all things 2020, everyone needs a shirt that says, I survived 2020. But the whole idea of, you know what, a lot of things may get canceled. But what doesn't get canceled is hope. What doesn't get canceled is the idea of dreaming your dreams and thinking about things you want to do someday. And it just means we got to get a little creative and inventive with how we pursue those things.
Miranda,
I have a show in the fall.
We had an African dust storm. Okay.
Yes, I know.
In Kentucky. All right. There was African dust on your car a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yes.
Now top that.
Oh, I know, right? I mean, it's a movie. No one could make it this up. That's what Tasha and I keep saying. Every time things come up behind the scenes, we're like, you can't make this stuff up.
No. No. And if you do, people would call you a liar or say you're drinking. What is she drinking today? But if you're just joining us, this is Miranda Meeks, and bless her heart, as she wears so many hats between teacher, but what we're talking about today is Illustrator.
Mm-hmm. They're like I was. This is what you eat, sleep, and breathe. This is your way of communicating with the world. This is how you make sense of the world. The kids that are ready for the conversation at middle school about this, the idea of being successful or someone else saying your art is good, me as your teacher telling you your art is good does not decide that you are or are not an artist.
Right.
You do. And it takes a long time sometimes. It took me a long time to say I'm an artist without there being a question mark at the end.
But good.
But a period at the end. Yes, but a period at the end instead. And saying not I'm an artist, but saying, no, I'm an artist, and this is what I make, and this is my perspective on how I express myself. And I tend to jump around with things, and that may be the art teacher in me, that I teach so many different things that I also make in so many different ways. So I do make personal art. I have the alumni show for Campbellsville University for homecoming week. It's been booked for over a year, and it's supposed to happen in the fall. And talk about be flexible. I've been in conversations this week about how, guess what? I have a gallery show this fall. Yay, it's really exciting for my personal work that no reception's allowed to happen and no one may see. But that doesn't mean I don't still put it out there.
Hey,
it's still a show.
That's a heck of a title for a book, though.
Yeah.
When you think about it, she could become an author pretty quickly, easily about that. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
The show that no one attended.
Yeah, but that just means, guess what? It's my job to be creative. It's still going to be a show, and I just have to figure out now, how do I get people to see it? So I've got some tricks up my sleeve.
Well, and one of the things I talked to you about yesterday, too, is I said the reason I think this is so timely, and I hate to even say it, because I said, you know what, this week, I'm not going to talk about negative things this week, because unless I'm laughing about them.
Right.
Because we've all got to laugh, because this week, people, I want people to turn their attention into some positive energy. And I think they'll be surprised where positive energy can really do. Not only to your psyche, but to somebody else.
To pay attention to.
But these kids, when you talk about middle school age kids, and now it's even creeping into elementary, I think the thing that I'm worried about so much is I look at these kids, and we have dealt with anything from suicide to depression so much in the last year before any of this COVID-19 thing come up with children. And it's starting as early as elementary age kids and going all the way into college age. And it's becoming not that shocking to a lot of people to hear. And I will tell you, the moment that becomes not shocking, there's a problem. And this is something that I think is such a great way for kids to express themselves. And it's a positive way. It's not, some of the eating disorders and things like that where they're screaming out for help in their own way. But this is such a positive way that they can do that with art. And whether that's music or drawing or painting or whatever their thing is, encourage them to do that.
Yeah, it's art. This is what I like to tell kids, and it's part of my artist bio on the back of the book. Art is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be made. You do not have to be someone with a piece in a gallery or a museum to make art. Art is part of the humanities. Key word in there is human. The arts are part of being human. And I explain to the kids like this. That's why they'll be dancing around in their bedroom, singing in their hairbrush, and the moment someone sees them, they get real self-conscious and they stop. Or they'll be drawing, and they even with me in class, they'll dive over their picture sometimes. Don't look at it, don't look at it, don't look at it. Because they're so afraid someone's going to not like it or make fun of it. Because art is very different. The arts are just different. If I walk into math class and I look at what you wrote down as a problem and I say, I don't like that problem, I think it's ugly, you're going to look at me and just think I'm weird. But if I walk up to you and I say, I don't like that drawing you did, I think it's ugly. Or I don't like the way you sing, I think it sounds bad. You're going to feel like I said, I don't like you, I think you're ugly. Because the arts are so intrinsically, deeply personal. So, first of all, it's very brave to make art in general, especially if it's about something you feel. And that's partially why I haven't shown a lot of my personal artwork, because I haven't been brave enough to put it out there yet. And I'm working on that. And that's why I have the show coming up, even if nobody sees it. But it's just a constant act of create, be brave, and figure out how you feel about things. Because, our mental health is really important. And especially when the world feels like everything's in chaos, you need to, and it made me so excited. I know toilet paper was gone everywhere, but it made me so happy as an art teacher. And all my other art teacher and friends are like, oh my gosh, have you seen? The craft shelves are empty. It means people are making stuff. We get so excited to know that people are actually taking the time
but
to do that.
But it was an out for them.
Yes.
What did they do? They went from, boredom to, man, I got to get me some yarn.
Yes.
Or, hot glue gun. I loved that was where they were going and gravitating.
Yes, and that's, what did not sell out, there is no more of? It wasn't the video games. It wasn't the movies, because obviously we have streaming and stuff. It wasn't that stuff that everyone said, we are out on the shelves.
It was glitter.
It was glitter. And listen, if some parents are letting their kids buy some glitter, they're desperate.
I'm telling you, that was like the most valuable commodity there for a little bit. And especially the good glitter, the itty bitty powder glitter.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, come on now.
Everyone needed a little bit of sparkle in their life during all of this. Just a little sparkle.
Just give me a little hint, man. I just need a little. Yeah. And what I will say, they've sparkled everything they could, but if it kept them in a good mind space. Think about this. When you start looking at your art and going, okay, I'm going to get made fun of that. Give me the kid that's like, do you know how much fun? Well, he had to have had made of him Da Vinci back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
People had to say, oh, what is he smoking? It's, well, would you not have? I would have.
Truthfully, and this is something Tasha and I kind of joke about a lot, because we've researched, and we may be wrong, but we haven't found a children's book series like what we're doing, where it's legitimately from origin intended to be a series as a children's picture book, kind of about character development in this way. I feel like a lot of things we're finding when we were doing research to, just be aware of what else is out there were things that they put this book out and then later they came up with this. But I mean, she's had this in this vision fully from the get-go. Tasha has this idea of there's going to be 7 of them. She learns different lessons along the way and what it means to be successful. Each one focuses on a different character trait. We have a lot of other things planned down the road after that I can't talk about yet that are very exciting. This is meant to be a long-term process of developing and putting good things out there to kind of really encourage kids and, to be honest, adults, because we also hope that as adults are maybe reading the book to their kids or with their kids, they're also remembering some of these things, because I know I do. I know I love incorporating children's picture books in my middle school classroom sometimes. Kids like being read to. They just enjoy it sometimes. It's a fun, story time with Miss Meeks. And I'll read it as they're working, and I am reminded of things like, oh my gosh, how did I forget this? Because we go about life and life affects us.
Well, I think there's even books like my son happens to love Where the Red Fern Grows. And that's still, and I'm tattling on him, and I guess I probably shouldn't. But that was always been one of his favorite books. That was one that I loved when I was a kid. My dad really loved it. So his grandpa, it's one of those things I think sometimes that you can really relate even as family members, to, something that really kind of goes through the ages. I appreciate you being here with us.
I really appreciate you having me and giving Tasha and myself a platform just to let people know we do have something out there. If you would like...
It's in big box stores. It's not just out there.
Well, I know for sure it's online. I haven't seen it in a store yet.
I want that video. Somebody follow her the next time she goes to Target and sees that on a shelf. I want to see your reaction.
Well, I will tell you, I'll probably freak out. And I did post on my personal, my classroom Facebook page. I really was hesitant to decide should I post this or not, because I was geeking out quite a lot. My reaction to seeing it, realizing that it was on Target, because I didn't know that was going to happen. And I thought, no, I'm going to post it because it's such a genuine
that's
moment.
Just a start. Just wait.
And I like the idea of my students being able to see that.
Yes.
Because I'll be real cool, calm, and collected in the classroom, because, the other cool part of making this has been getting to show my students the behind the scenes as it was being built. Here's what we're doing now. Here's how this looks. Here's what it looks like in this stage. It's going to look really different later. All that stuff. And the idea of them getting to see that even Miss Meeks geeks out about getting to accomplish something.
Suddenly it's, wait a minute. It is important. What I do love is important.
Yes.
How about that? It validates it.
Yeah. Kids need their dreams validated. Right. They really do.
Remind us of that competition again, because we're about out of time.
Awesome.
So remind us of that.
Awesome. So if you would like to participate in our giveaway that we have going on, please go to The Little Shot on Facebook. It's called The Little Shot. That's the page. Follow, all those good things. But you need to like and share the specific post about the competition. And then in the comments, in separate comments, nominate as many people as you want. But we want to hear about people that you think are being courageous, whether it's in a small way or in a big way. Because the things we're doing with that is you will get... If you are drawn, because we'll take all the people who nominate and we will do a drawing, whomever wins gets 2 free copies signed by both myself and Tasha, the author, to have. And then also... something that might come from it is Tasha also has a component to all this where we like to highlight real life big shots. And there's a good chance, especially if you'll write a description as to why you think this person is courageous that you're nominating. We like reaching out to real life big shots and doing special interviews and highlighting them on our page. And she has a podcast. So I would really encourage you to check that stuff out as well. But also, if you're looking to follow us on Instagram, the Instagram handle is @Little Shot Series. Also, if you just go search The Little Shot, I'm sure it'll pop up as well. But if you want to help us out and kind of support us, those would be some great ways just to help share some stuff, do all the social media things. And also, if you do buy a book, we would love for you to go leave a review. Thank you.
I love her, Miss Miranda Meeks. on Coffee Talk on WPKY Princeton. That is something that, man, we've enjoyed today. I think it's timely. I think people need to hear it. And there is a message. I'm not going to call it a children's book. I'm just going to call it a beautiful book, because it's one that I think adults, my age, your age, senior citizens, whatever, children, I think we can all get a lesson that we need right now from that book. And I'm sure the next one and the next one and the next one. And the contest is over Sunday night, right?
It's over Sunday evening, so you only have until Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to get your nominations in.
And I guarantee you I'm going to be bugging her going, okay, who won?
I really hope I see a lot of nominations about kids.
Oh,
I really hope I see a lot of people nominating kids they know, maybe people, the coworkers, you know. I mean, we got way too many good things going on and way too many good people that are doing some good stuff and living courageously to not talk about them.
I want to say a special, we love you, and our prayers are going out to you and to everyone that has done something for Owen and his family and said the prayers and sent the love and in so many different ways. I want to thank everybody for doing that. I want to encourage everybody to continue to do that and let Owen's family and Owen know that we love them and that we're with them, and the prayers won't stop. Just because we're not actively saying it doesn't mean we're not still praying for you. So.
Absolutely.
So thank you a lot. Be kind to one another for the weekend. Miss Andre Lamb is going to be around with all of your news updates. Of course, Todd has got your sports, so you won't miss nothing. Stick around. 1580 103.3 WPKY. The Body Shop at Trice Hughes is open for business and will assist you in getting your vehicle back on the road. Trice knows your vehicle is one of the most important things you own. It's important it's fixed right and as quickly as possible. Call for an appointment or free estimate at 270-365-5522.
Trice Hughes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
Local businesses have supported us in every regard. Now it's our turn to support them. Here's a way you can help.
The road crews clearing, the law enforcement protecting, the health officials informing. Our local heroes are paid by you when you shop local businesses. Now more than ever, it's important that we shop local merchants who provide such important sales tax revenue. As we flatten the curve and rebuild, we need you to support local life. Keep our local economy strong with our local businesses. Here today, here tomorrow, we're in this together. This is Beth Mann, President and CEO of the Edge Media Group, asking you to support local.
The Edge Media Group encourages you to support local. Be sure to post what you're doing to show your support. #SupportLocal.
At Shelter Insurance, our agents are dedicated to helping provide personalized auto, home, and life protection that puts your family first.
This is Mike Gilkey, proudly serving Princeton, Kentucky and surrounding areas.
Community leaders around.
Community's just a wonderful place to do business, to live, and to educate your children and to worship.
The greatest comeback of all time is underway. Continue supporting local. Together, we can make a difference.
Planters Bank, located at 208 North Jefferson Street, is locally owned and operated with a strong, sincere focus on customer service. Planters Bank has a diverse team of seasoned professionals in Western Kentucky and Clarksville, Tennessee. Since first opening their doors, Planters Bank has made a name for itself as an energetic player in the financial services market. Stop by and talk to the friendly folks at Planters and find out about the You Choose Rewards program. Planters Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Your home team at Trice Hughes wants to make sure your vehicle lasts as long as possible, especially since warmer weather means more driving. Trice Hughes reminds you that tire pressure is critical to maximizing the performance of your vehicle. From improved fuel mileage to smoother tire wear, make sure your tires are inflated to the correct PSI.
Trice Hughes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
Celebrating 70 years of community